Woohoo! Ladies, gentlemen, gamers, and fellow League of Legends lovers and haters. Welcome back! It's been about 2 weeks, and that means that it's time for the patch notes. Wow! Excuse me. So, little disclaimer before we start this one. I am running off of approximately 2 hours of sleep, so if I misstate anything, if I seem incoherent, if I'm babbling more than usual, or if I'm crazy beyond normal, that is why. I'm struggling to keep my eyes open, and I am really trying hard to be awake. So hopefully patch notes won't literally make me fall asleep, because it's done that before. But either way, we're gonna see what's new in League. I've been playing the pass. The pass is out, the one of the longest passes of the year, mind you. And just to show off my progress here, to showboat a little bit, we got 4 weeks left, and I'm already at rank 52, so that's pretty cool. But either way, we are here to review the patch notes. We're here to see what's going on. And now, since I have been playing, I've been playing almost everything aside from TFT. I've been playing ARAM, I've been playing Spellbook, I've been playing Ranked, I've been playing everything. I think I have a little bit of a better grasp than when I wasn't. So we're going to see what's happening. Happy LOL Player Days, and welcome to patch 14.20. Yeah, 420, yeah! Yeah. So the Player Days is, I think, the anniversary for the 15th year that League of Legends has graced us with its presence, so that's pretty cool. So there's free rewards for that. I'm pretty sure they're going to mention it, but I'll just mention it here. I think it's a grand total of 10 days of rewards. You get a reward every day. And I believe you can do it all at the end, realistically. So it comes out every day for the 10 days, but you can just play the 10th day and get everything. And I think it lasts a little bit longer than 10 days. But we have the free Sivir skin, and then nothing else really matters. And the free Sivir skin is very reminiscent of the Annie skin we got on the, I believe, 10th anniversary, which was 5 years ago. Holy shit. I think that's around when Arcane came out, too, for the first time, but I honestly don't remember. No, Arcane came out, Season 1 at least, around COVID, I think. Weird. But anyway, let's see what else is happening. So, this patch marks our first follow-up patch for Split 3. Yes, Split 3 has started, and that's why I'm playing Ranked again. We're all quite happy with the new pace of combat and reduced snowballing, but as they always say, they're probably going to need some improvement. But there are, unsurprisingly, a few outliers after changing about 100 times. So, main thing I've heard and I've seen and I felt is that everything basically got touched, but the things that didn't get touched a lot were mage items. I heard that mage items basically are decently strong, which I think is good. I think mages weren't that strong before, and I think everyone needs to have their time in the sun. As is a popular quote in a really big hit anime, everyone has their own turn, from One Piece, the king of the pirates. So I think that it's good that mages are having their turn. God knows when assassins are going to get theirs, but ADCs need theirs again. But either way, let's see what they're doing. We're sharpening the early game crit ADC item system by retuning Collector, Essence Reaver, Static Shiv. Okay, that's an important one we got to talk about. And Yuntal Wild Arrows. Yuntal, okay. Static is probably going to get nerfed because if anyone's been paying attention to World, which I have kind of wishy-washy been, I've been seeing clips and I've been catching it when I can with my fucked up sleep schedule, which is why I have 2 hours of sleep right now. Static Shiv and Jhin are probably going to get looked at. I really hope just Static Shiv and not Jhin, but they're kind of going sicko mode with it, and they're really looking too good in World, and I'm really scared. Static, everyone knows my opinions if you've seen the other patch notes videos. I think Static is a shell of its former self, but that's just me being stuck in my old man ways, because Static is decently good. If the pros are using it, it must be good, right? But Static, the fact that it can't crit anymore, and now it procs off minion deaths or just champion deaths in general, you can't proc it by just autoing. I personally don't like it too much. I think it's a gimmick item. I think there's better stuff, and every person in regular play that uses it sucks ass, especially on Jhin. But aside from that, leading to that with Yuntal Wild Arrows, Yuntal got changed to where I think it's a straight buff, because they changed it from percent scaling to flat, and that really only hurt, I think, one person the most, at least, which is, ironically enough, Jhin. which is one of the few people who actually uses the damn item, in my opinion. But I hope they change that back. I hope they revert it to being a percentage of your AD rather than a just flat amount, because that shit does not scale and no one builds that first. 70 damage for 2 seconds, basically 140 on a crit. That's nice and all, but late game, you're really just going to kill them. Like, that damage I don't think adds up too much. Unless they buff it to maybe like 100 or something, which at that point it's going to be an early game nightmare. It's like, it's really, I feel like it's a lot better on everyone but Jin, which is again one of the few people who use it. So we're going to see what they do with that. We're also nerfing some AP burst items as they're one-shotting people a little too hard. And bring back some AP jungle clear speeds as well. We think this will help crit ADCs come back up in power, thank God, and generally empower non-mages in most roles. Cool. Beyond those system changes, we're also addressing a dozen of the game's biggest champion outliers, with more to come as we find through the last parts of this new item system. So I can't really tell who the champion outliers are because I'm in shit low right now because of the reset to ranked. But, you know, I swear I'm going to get back to good elo. Probably. But one of the things I noticed is, like, I don't know if they're going to touch this, but Kayn seems ridiculous. Kayn actually seems really crazy. Either way, in other news, we're kicking off LOL Player Days. This patch to celebrate League turning 15 years old. It's still a minor. Who was the most recent one caught? I think it was Doc. You know, don't tell Doc to disrespect. Haha. And while we aren't dropping any new games like we did back in the 10th anniversary event, which is sad, but we did get a lot of stuff this year, like Swarm, so I'm happy about that. We do have quite a few rewards coming your way, which is the main thing people care about, aside from new game modes. More details below, and then we have TFT. Oh, wait, no, hold on, I'm not done yet. We also have quite a few other updates coming this patch, like the Teemo ASU, which I don't know who asked for that and who wanted that, but okay. Ready check penalty adjustments, which are curious. Some MMR changes, as always, and the 2024 Worlds Clash. Whoopee! Which hopefully I'll be participating in, but we'll see. Either way, we have a whole bunch of new skins here, which I have no clue about, except the KDA Gragas one, because that one is iconic, and obviously the Sivir one. But to kind of speak a little bit on the older skins, too, that I reviewed 2 weeks ago, I had no clue. I already knew the Fright Night skins were going to be top tier, right? They typically are. They have moving plaid as their thing. I had no clue the Veigar skin was a legendary. The fact that I know that now, I feel like I criminally underrated the last patch based off the skins alone. But that's pretty cool. But we'll see what the new skins hold in store. So here, LoL Player Days, we can see hot ass Sivir with her hot ass abs throwing whatever the fuck this is. League of Legends is a game that was built by all of you and your wallets. The past 15 years have been an amazing journey, and we sold out to Tencent. And we're so honored, that's a joke. We're so honored by all the ways you've shared your love for the game, esports, and each other. I really gotta say, like, the main thing I love, one of the main things I love about gaming, aside from the game itself, is the community, right? And as bad as the League community is in the game, I think outside the game, I mean, even, you know, in the old days, right? The community creates so many cool things. I love the fan art, I love the music, I love everything, right? Back in the day, we had the This Is Wars, the League Raps, oh my god, the champion showcases, champion spotlights, not only from Riot, but from people like Magikarp Used Fly, the stick figure fights, oh my god, they were all so good. But I really, really like what the community does. The community ends up carrying a game if the game is good, or if the community is as good, if the game is lucky to get good people. And we certainly have. Again, the people in League, terrible. The people who make up the community with the art and all the other stuff, great and amazing. Especially some of the memes with Jackson and Andy. Those are funny as fuck. But either way, today we're celebrating all of you and the way you've made the game so much more than we could have hoped for, which is true. We'll share stories from players around the world illustrated by community artists, which is great. It's so sad, though. The one thing I really wish Riot did is I really wish they sponsored and helped out, at least financially, right? Because that's what sponsoring is. Mubi and Surrender at 20. I'm always going to mention it. I'm mentioning it a lot less now because it's really fading from memory, but some people probably don't even know what Surrender at 20 it is. Surrender at 20 was the hub for League news back in the day. This place had everything. It would alert you for stuff. I think it was the best, I don't want to say collaboration because it wasn't really collaborating with anyone, but it was the best, I guess, hub for everything League related. Like, all the news that you could think of was there, and they organized it well, and it was just great. I always learned of everything new, and I got spoiled for the skins there, and it was really, really cool. Now, the one positive that comes out of it is now I don't know what the skins are unless I get leaked. But I really miss Surrender at 20, aside from knowing the skins early. Like, man, it just kept me up to date. It told me when the passes were on. Like, it's hard to find a site that does it just for League, because oftentimes they do it for other games and it's really annoying. But either way, where the fuck was I at? Right here, we're celebrating all the ways you made the game much better. Okay, we share stories by community artists. You'll also have a chance to pick up several legacy skins from the vault. Ooh, not to mention 10 days of rewards, most of which are probably not that good, but they're okay. Plus a few other small tokens to show our appreciation. There are 10 total days of rewards for you to unlock. Play a game to complete a mission to get a reward, you know the deal, including the anniversary. Oh, anniversary mythic skin. That is so crazy to say. Mythic Essence, and a batch of fan-themed accessories. You'll have until October 20th. So we have 20 days starting from today, although the patch I don't think is out today. I think it's coming out tomorrow or Thursday, so we pretty much have 19 to 18 days. So that's pretty good. Play one game each day or wait till the very last day and play all 10 games in a row. Just remember to stretch between matches. Here's a roadmap for all the goodies. So, day 1, garbage. Day 2, garbage. Day 3, garbage. Day 4, decent. Day 5, alright. Day 6, pretty good. Day 7, garbage. Day 8, pretty good. Day 9, the best thing. And then day 10, okay. So we'll be kicking off the event with some other stuff on their live streams and stuff, so that's cool. We also have 3 special days at the beginning: event Creative Day, Music Day, and Esports Day. Whoopee! That's pretty cool. Anyway, moving on to Teemo's ASU. So I'm trying to think. At this point in time, we really have come a long way, I think, with the ASUs. The ASUs are really fucking good. Lee Sin's one was pretty recent. Obviously, we have Teemo. And ASU is just visuals, not really much gameplay. People like Skarner, who got everything. I think Skarner kind of failed, but excuse me, it's sad because they're not terrible, but in terms of gameplay, I don't like them. Skarner and Udyr were 2 champions I liked before, and I could say at certain points, depending on the balance, they were better than their old counterparts, but I just don't like them. It's really weird. But either way, though, we have Teemo being the newest one. The only other person I could really hardcore say, the only 2 people I can actually hardcore say that off the top of my head should get ASUs, maybe 3, but 2. 2 for sure. Number 1, Gragas, and number 2, Cho'Gath. After that, as a flex goal, I'd like to see Alistar, but Alistar got a little bit of a touch-up, so it's not too bad. Oh no, and number 3, Amumu. Amumu, Cho'Gath, and Gragas desperately need ASUs, man. They really need it. Maybe even Nocturne. There's some old-ass champions, but they're getting to them. I feel like they're getting to them a little slowly, and I really don't understand some of the picks, like why Teemo of all things. But, you know, it is what it is. Teemo is actually, I think, decently popular. But regardless, one of League's oldest and most hated beloved champions is updated with our ASU RN sustainability update. So because of this, some of his skins are increasing in price, but that's fine. So it's releasing in 14.20. He has a new animation rig, new animations, new SFX, new VO, and everything else. So he's a lot better looking. Now, the one thing I will say, and I've said this before, is I think League really upped their shit right when Poppy got her VGU. I think Poppy getting her VGU was the first time I was like, wait a minute, they actually have facial rigging animations now. The old models, their faces are static. They're like PNG pictures. The new models, their faces actually move and, like, you know, their mouths open and everything. They have emotions. I think that shit's crazy. Teemo's one of the old characters who just has like a permanent smile on his face. It's so funny. But yeah, a lot higher quality, which is great for all the Teemo mains out there. Fuck all of you. Either way, though, due to the increased scope and quality bar, we're going to be raising the cost on 3 of Teemo's skins. If you already have them, good for you. If you don't, you might want to get them before the update, which is probably today or tomorrow. But anyway, Happy Elf is going to a 750. So those tier skins don't exist. Basically, all his skins, Happy Elf, Recon, and Badger, they're going to 750. I couldn't even tell you what that really does aside from maybe like a slight model change. I don't think there's any effects updates. I'll be surprised if there is, because that's for 975s, which also don't exist anymore. We pretty much just get 1350s and up, so aka, I forgot what they call it, epics. Epics and legendaries are all we get, so yeah. I don't know who would buy these, but okay. We also unvaulted these skins for these 2 patches, so you can get them. Additionally, to celebrate Teemo's ASU, we're giving the champion theme here. So he did get a new theme, which is pretty cool. It's pretty silly, too. It's something I would imagine would be in like one of those cringe-ass movies that like take video games or something into like the mainstream. Because I think in the theme they're like Timo, Timo. And actually, I'm gonna listen to it right now. Let me take a listen to this. What? Okay, wow, wow. And there it is. I don't want to play too much of it because I don't know if it's copyrighted or not. But yeah, it literally sounds like it could be in the Minecraft movie or the Sonic movie or some shit like that. It sounds very generalized and broadly appealing, which isn't always good, but it is what it is. Also, what is this? We promise we won't judge you for playing Teemo. Thank Mr. Broxa. Yo, Broxa is so cool, by the way. Oh my god. Anyway, cool. Ready check penalty adjustment. So I'm more interested in this than everything else. Let's see. Last patch, some players received penalties that were too harsh when declining or missing the ready check due to a bug. The bug was causing players to progress through the tiers of penalties far quicker than intended, leading to long queue suspension even for minor offenses. During 14.19, we reduced the rate at which players were receiving more serious penalties, while we worked on a permanent fix. With 14.20, this issue should be resolved. The temporary hold on serious penalties for decline will be lifted in 14.21. So basically, they bugged shit out and it wasn't working as intended. This is nothing, actually. Cool. Ranked. Last season, we made it a bit too easy for players to hit some of the higher ranks, and the number of players in equivalent ranks across the region varied too much. This is where, back in the day, the main issue was that you hit LP stagnation very quickly. Like, you would gain 16 and lose 15 for a win and a loss. And sometimes it would get really bad and you lose like 17 and gain 15. Like, holy shit. They really improved it. Maybe they overtuned it a bit. And the biggest thing I will give them that's good is it takes a little bit longer now to start LP stagnating. So that's good. But I guess they're just fine-tuning it, which as long as it's near where it's at now, I think it's fine. I think having very little or no progress and having League be a slog really feels bad for a lot of people. Some people like it. I think most people don't. And I think we're in a decent-ish spot than we were. But let's see. As a result of this change, some players' placements were a little harsher than intended. Oh, yeah, mine, too. Like, bruh, I was, like, high plat last season. Or not last season. I forgot what season it was. But, yeah, no, it was plat. Because I used to be emerald, then they put me in plat, and I was, like, mid to high plat. And this season, they started me in silver, and I scraped to gold out of my promos, and I'm like low gold, and I'm stuck in shit low now. Which, if I was serious and I actually grinded it out and didn't care, or actually cared, I could probably get back to plat easily, but I'm more of a for fun player now. But I was like shocked the fact that they put me that low when I was in like mid to high platinum. I was like, holy shit. The games are pretty fun though. But either way, I definitely feel the harsher than intended part. So we're walking back a bit. This patch players should expect to see increased LP gains as a result. Apex DMR restriction will be turned back on. Who cares? That affects like 2 people. To support the better service performance, ranked ladders will now be updated every 10 minutes. Wow. Cool. Alright, finally, on to the changes. So hopefully a lot of these ADCs get buffed. Hopefully Jhin doesn't get nerfed. Let's take a look. Aphelios. Aphelios is pretty weak in general. Aside from pro play, he takes a while to scale. He's obviously a little bit complicated for the average person. And I think he's good, especially if he is allowed to scale, but it's just not, he's not a general person champion. He's for the mains, essentially. It's like how Saturday is for the boys, Aphelios is for the mains. Either way, what are they doing? Aphelios was hurt by Collector's nerfs and in need of some assistance. Collector's getting some help. Aphelios getting some direct buffs. Okay, so let's see what they're doing. So they're buffing his early game, which is good. Because late game, he's really good. If you get the right weapon combo, you fuck ass. But it's just getting there is the issue. So his base health is going up by 20. That's fine. And his passive, his bonus attack damage is going up by 3 later on. Okay, cool. I mean, every little bit helps. This is nice. Decent. Now, from what Riot is quote-unquote saying, which I think this does so far really kind of show they are serious with it, is they don't want the game to get too snowbally too soon, right? Because they just reduced a lot of snowball. They just reduced a lot of damage because there was an overabundance of it, which I do kind of agree there was. I think eventually it's inevitable that we're probably going to lead back to that, and then we're going to have to roll back on it again. But I just think, again, things should have their time and place for at least a little bit, right? Maybe for half a year or a year, things should be slow. Then after that, maybe for a year, things get a little too fast. And then after that, we change it up again, right? I mean, this game is way, way too complicated to balance effectively by one person. That's why they have a whole team doing it, hopefully. But this really goes in line with what I think they're doing and what I think they've done with the items, and I think this is okay. They don't want to make it too great. So now before, right, when things were overblown, I'm a little hesitant to say that with the images that pop up in my mind now. But when things are really blown out of proportion, especially how damage was, and they only nerf things like with 5 AD in the past, it was like, okay, this is a drop in the bucket, right? Now it means a little bit more because things aren't as crazy. So 5 AD means more now. Now, granted, this isn't 5, this is 3, but it's the general concept, which I think is nice. So it's in line with what they want, and this is okay. Caitlyn, oh my god, my most hated ADC. What are they doing? Caitlyn is, I feel like, getting kind of shadow buffed. Like, she's getting up and up and up. Now, if you're a really good skilled player, you can make Caitlyn feel like hell for the enemy. Like, oh my freaking god, this character's insane if you're skill capped. If you're unskill capped. If you're skill capped, this character is alright. You know, she has a decent, pretty good mid game after that okay late game, but there's better people, and I hate her. I think it's her animations, honestly, that makes me hate her. I don't like the way she attacks, but weird nitpick. Either way, I hate Caitlyn. She's decently good. I'm wondering if they're going to buff her. Caitlyn isn't hitting her targets at the moment, and part of that is driven by her lack of game plan. She no longer has a premier lane bully. Wow, thank God. And doesn't have great late game sustained damage either. Yup. We like to strengthen those aspects that she used to have, so we're giving her a little bit in both areas. Oh, dear God. So the attack speed's going up, which is weird, because Caitlyn doesn't, or shouldn't really feel like a machine gun. She has a sniper rifle, right? And then the Q is getting 60% of total damage instead of 50 to everyone past the first hit. Slightly better. Cool. Hopefully nothing crazy, but nothing too crazy. Corki! So Corki's interesting, right? I don't know if they're nerfing him because he's still a problem mid. I don't know if they want to push him back into the bot lane even more because they kind of failed the first time, really pushing him towards AD builds and crit builds. We really got to see what they're doing here. I think Corki's kit is just... It's very unique because you really want to prioritize Sheen stuff, right? Now, obviously, before you want to also prioritize half magic, but Corki I still think is really good, sleeper good if he can scale, kind of like Aphelios, except I think easier and more fun. Although very different, because again, the items you build on Corki aren't typical. You could build Mana Moon, you could build Triforce, a lot of different stuff you normally wouldn't build on any other ADC except maybe Ezreal, maybe if you're really pushing it, Lucian. Which again, they pushed more Lucian towards crit too. But either way, what are they doing to Cork? We want to help Corki safely exit Progel, so for now he's on Pearl as we smooth out his mana costs and put more emphasis on daring part of his daring Bombardier. So the mana cost on his Q is scaling upward now, which is better for early. The W max damage is going up. Oh, wait. Oh my god, they're adding 150 bonus AD. So this is where I already thought the W was kind of low-key pretty good. It's just, it's a movement ability, and you're an ADC, technically speaking. So you never really want to go in on this unless you're 1v1ing, unless you're Hail Marying, or unless you really want to do, like, damage all-inning. You ideally want to save this as your escape. Now, this thing, when I looked at the numbers before, I was like, damn, this kind of does, like, a decent amount of damage. Now that it's getting a bonus AD scaling, it already had an AP scaling, which for most intents was useless now, unless you got Baron or unless you were a psychopath. So now that this actually scales off bonus AD, you're further incentivized to build AD, which you're supposed to do anyway with this new passive, quote unquote. It's like, this is kind of scary. I'm like, holy shit. And anyway, his E, the mana cost is going down, which is great. Okay, Corki is decently better. Mundo! I think tanks are really not that good. However, I still need to get more of a feel for them because many people aren't playing them because people want to do damage, not tank. So I think with the whole item gutting that they did, you know, the overall power reduction, we got to see how tanks land. They should be better off, but I never really thought tanks were that powerful to begin with. Let's see what they're doing to Mundo. Actually, I had one game recently where it was literally a battle of the Titans top lane. Both teams would smack the fuck out of each other, and the only people left would be both top laners, one of them being Mundo, literally diving the other team's back line, and then by the end they'd just fight each other because everyone else is dead. So maybe tanks slash bruisers are pretty good now, but we gotta see. So what is Mundo doing? When tank items get strong and overall damage goes down, Dr. Mundo gets very happy. Abso-fucking-lutely. But now he's overpowered. I honestly can see it. With what I saw Mundo doing, I was like, bruh, this guy's the carry. I was shocked. But so the bonus damage on E is going down by 0.4, which makes sense because again, damage is down. So this is in line. This is fine. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, he's here. Okay. This is happening. Whew, I have to get ready. I have to mentally prepare myself because he's, I think, 100% getting nerfed after his Worlds performance here. So, oh man, this is gonna be hard to swallow, man, because I have strong opinions about it. Let me see what they're doing before I get angry. AD growth decreased, R damage decreased. Oh my god. If they can buff Yuntal, maybe. Jin is about as happy as a Jin main getting a quadra kill, but he's too strong at the moment. Especially in lower skill brackets where games go on later. He's scaled. He should be more of a utility champion. No. And less of a late game carry. Absolutely not. They are wrong. So we're lowering his late game guaranteed damage by reducing his ultimate damage and AD growth to a number that will make Jin mains feel conflicted. Okay. So I like that they're reducing it to 4.4. That's actually not bad. It's not as bad as I thought it would be, but let's see the ult damage. So the ult damage, the base damage is really getting like obviously it increases the lower they are, but man, that looks like it hurts. 244 to 192. Holy fucking shit, that feels like a lot. So the ult I think is obviously taking a bigger hit. The attack damage growth is a little sad because everything is percentage wise with Jin. As you get more levels, you gain just more percentage of your AD as extra AD, because why not? But it's really weird, right? Because when Jin came out, they envisioned him as this setup sniper, like this sniper who places traps methodically and really just, you know, if he could get the right scenario, he can kill you from afar and you can't even counterplay it, right? But it would be very hard. You'd have to be like a tactical genius. In reality, that was all thrown out the window because he just two-shot you with his hand cannon. So what Riot wants and what the reality is, and it's a similar thing that happened with Orianna. Orianna was meant to be a support. She's a mid laner. So there's, again, what Riot wants and what the reality is, and that a lot of the times conflicts. And I really don't like what they want Jin to be. Now, granted, they're probably just saying this just to say it, right? But if this is the only nerfs on Jin, I'll take it. I think the ult one is a little excessive. But because they're probably nerfing static too, which is sadly one of his premier items right now. But Jin is always in a weird spot. I really feel like he's very feast or famine, and the items are very weird for him. Like, he pretty much only has one item pathway, usually. He has, like, one build, and that's it. It's either good or it's bad. There's nothing in between. And it's the same thing with runes. He either has a good rune or a bad rune. There's nothing in between. And for the most part, it's only fleet footwork. Unless you're going, like, Dark Harvest, Electrocute Jin, which is not as good. So Jin is a little bit in a weird spot. If they over nerf him, he's going to be garbage, and he is one of their best champions I personally think they've ever made. Am I biased? Absolutely, because I love Jin. I think he's one of their best champions they ever made. I think he's unique. I think he brought a new perspective to the bot lane. When I played him for the first time, people thought I was hacking because of how good I was on him. And, you know, Jin holds a special place in my heart. It really shows that the bot lane role can be interesting, can be cool, can be different. Because everything else that was different, like Zeri and Smolder, they nerfed to hell. And Jin thankfully wasn't, but we gotta see. I think this is slightly excessive, but maybe it'll come back again. You know, it's always a push and pull with Riot. Maybe they'll bring him back eventually. We'll see. But this isn't too bad. Lee Sin. As always, as I always say, this champion needs to be removed or reworked. I hate him, although he looks good now. Lee Sin was one of the champions hit hardest by this patch, and we're giving him more power back. So I feel like with less damage around, Lee Sin actually does more, because he's just good at surviving. He's like decently damaging and somewhat survivable. So his base damage going from 66 to 69. He has one of the highest base damages in the game from what I can tell, what I remember. I don't think anyone is near 70 like he is. Holy shit. No wonder he's good early. Because he doesn't scale. Lee Sin's decently better. Like, holy shit, this is big. Mord D. Kaiser. What do I think of Mordekaiser? I think Mord is very popular. I think he's very good. Although I think it's very easy to play him decently against bad people. It's very hard to play him against good people. But if you're good on Mord, you could do a lot of fucking damage. I love him. I think he's a very fair champion. Because the biggest thing I wish they did with Mord, if they ever want to actually buff him and keep it lore accurate too, because Mord is a big threat in the lore. I think the biggest thing they could do is change his ultimate so when you kill someone, you keep 1% of their stats and you stack infinitely. I feel like Mord's ult, in different ways, it's great and it's bad. His ult is great because it brings someone out of the fight. It's bad in almost every other aspect. The 10% stats are nice, but it's like it's unnoticeable. It doesn't feel good. You don't notice it. Most of the time you don't notice it. It's like you're really just using the ult as a displacement CC ability that's easily counterable, by the way. At least I think it was. I think they nerfed that, or I think they buffed that a couple patches ago where you couldn't Quicksilver out of it anymore. Or I think you couldn't orange out of it, but I'm not sure. I think you could still orange out of it with GP. But regardless, they made it slightly better, but I feel like that's the one thing that they need to give more. I feel like the ult is, in some aspects, a really cool part of his kit, but it's not living up to its potential. Everything else is pretty cut and dry. Like, it's just a skill matchup, right? He has clear counterplay, and if he gets on you, he gets on you, and he's going to fuck you up. I really like Mort for that. I think he's fair. I don't know if they're going to buff or nerf him, though. What are they doing? Mordekaiser is one of the biggest top lane winners of this patch, yeah, because if damage goes down, he does percent, and he's, again, a similar guy who likes long extended fights, because that shield he gets also heals him eventually if he chooses. Anything with extended fights, Mordekaiser loves, and needs to be reined in a bit. So his first 3 items are all AP, and he's currently dealing some of the highest damage in the game among top laners. We're reducing his burst. What are they doing? His Q is getting nerfed by 10% for single target. I think that's fair. I think the single target kind of nukes you. And Mordekaiser, in some instances, if he does get on you, which a couple of champions he definitely can, it kind of feels unfair, especially if you're alone, which he can guarantee that with his ult. So I don't mind them toning down the damage a little bit, because it should come from the other aspects of his kit too, mainly the passive, slightly the E, but I think this is fine. Any lower than this would not be right. Neela, I hate this champion. This champion needs to be removed. This is a poor excuse for a champion. And I actually heard from some of my viewers at Twitch TV Tecnics channel that on Wild Rift she's different and she's a lot better. She has a decently different kit. I think Neela is, in my opinion, their response to people going ADC Yasuo, because people like playing ADC Yasuo because he was good. Neela is a poor response to that. I don't know who the fuck plays this person. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of the least played people in the game, because she's so hard to play. I feel like what you get out of her if you play her well, you would get in spades with anyone else if you put in the same amount of effort and time in. And I just personally hate this champion. I don't think she's that good. I think it's really hard to be good with her. I think people who play her and are good are geniuses, but like, again, that's like one every what, 1,000, 100,000? Who knows? I fucking hate Neela. I was excited for her. I was like, oh my god, a person who's gonna replace like ADC Yasuo. And then it was like, what the fuck even is this? This is so fucking weird. It doesn't feel right. It feels dumb. But what are they doing? I feel like they have to buff her because I just feel like she sucks. So this patch we're delivering a quality of life change that has been requested by Neela players for a long time. B should feel smoother to cast and remove should feel snappier. Wow. So this is like, it really is a quality of life. It's 0.1 to instant. I'm sad I spent so much time on her. Pantheon, the guy who's really good. So I originally used to think, and this was true back in the day, especially for old Pantheon, Pantheon was only really good early to mid game. After that, he kind of fell off. I feel like current Pantheon, well, again, he's not great late game. He's still relevant, and I was kind of shocked to see that. Like, Pantheon's really cool. I gotta try him again. But, like, man, Pantheon is, like, I think he's one of the greatest VGUs ever, man. Like, his theme now, the way he looks, he's so badass. His lore really cool. Back then, he used to look just, like, goofy and stuff, right? He was cool in a way, like, my profession, I wanted to be a baker. But now, Pantheon is bad fucking ass, and he's better gameplay-wise. I don't know what they're going to do with him, because I'm not seeing him too much. But I do think his late game is better than it ever used to be, and he's still relevant, but we got to see what they do. The biggest nerfs they ever do to him are numbers, obviously, but the shield changes sometimes really hurt him. So let's see what they're doing. Pantheon's currently struggling a bit, particularly in lower skilled brackets of play, which is crazy because that's where he should be the best. In order to give him some help that we won't push him over the edge, we're giving his W some additional damage. Oh, especially Pantheons that use their empowered W more frequently. Wow. So his W is doing maximum health, and it scales with AP, and his bonus health, which is weird. It's going up by 1%. Cool. Very nice. In line with not a lot of damage that they want. Poppy. This character is secret OP. This character is lethal. It's tiny. She's tiny. She's lethal. She's scary. but you have to be good to use her. I think Poppy is low-key one of the best characters in the game. Like, she's so good at what she does. She shuts down movement. She can engage on you. She could extend the fight. She could disengage the fight. She does a shit ton of fucking damage sneakily enough. Like, she gains free resists, free... Oh my god, like, this champion is disgusting, man. If they buff her, I will be shocked. But either way, what are they doing? Poppy's support is dealing too much damage with her Blood Song into full tank build. Yes. Considering she isn't opting into any damage on... Yes, and that's the problem. We're nerfing that build this patch by increasing the cooldown on her passive in ways that keeps it longer for when going support. Poppy used to be a mid and top laner, by the way. People used to never play her support. Only... You played her support if you just wanted to kill people. Like, if you're playing like a mage, essentially. We're reducing the damage on her E since support uses this a lot, and along with some compensation for jungle since she's weaker there and could use help. So, her cooldown on her passive is slightly longer. Okay, I think that's fair. Excuse me. Hammer shock, which I like to call cock shock, because that's what she does. She shoves her giant cock hammer in your face. So the damage versus monsters is going up, which is nice. And then the E, the heroic charge, which usually you're not doing too much damage with unless you push them, I think, against the wall or something. I think I haven't played Poppy in God knows how long. But the damage is going down by 10. Okay, that's fine. Poppy is a little bit worse, but still well within good means. I think she's still great. Riven, oh my lord, why is there so much shit here? So Riven's interesting, right? I think Riven is a champion who used to be a very, very skill-expressive champion. Basically what Fiora is nowadays, Fiora, Akali. I think Riven is right under them, and I think I've said that before too. I think Riven could definitely use some help. I just don't think she's really held the test of time. I think overall there's other champions that, again, if you put more effort into them, or you put the same amount of effort into them as you would Riven, they do better than her. Riven is harder, but not enough of a result. Now, the biggest thing I like with Riven is she's hot, right? And maybe you like her gameplay. I don't think she's completely, like, dead. Obviously not. But, I think she could definitely use some help. Let's see. Riven was strongly bound to Eclipse, which was one of the most nerfed items last patch, which is crazy. While we're happy with the item changes overall, we need to reassess champions who are still using these items. We want Riven to feel comfortable stacking damage. We're giving her better Q damage. Ooh, as long as she keeps building long swords. The math works out with a stronger level 9 spike and an overall higher appetite for bonus AD. We dug into her recommended rune pages, which are driven by player choices, which I think should be Conqueror, right? I found there are significantly stronger options available, so we manually replaced a few. So they actually disagree with the stats that they scraped from the community. Wow. This should make her resolve page much more competitive with sorcery. Ew. What are they doing? How big are they buffing the Q? So the Q is going from 70 to 85%, but it's going to bonus AD instead of total. Oof. Interesting. The recommended runes are being changed. Okay, Gathering Storm, obviously. See, this is weird because a lot of Riven players do value the move speed, I guess, early, but like Bone Plating's the second one. They're completely denying the early game now. They want you to like survive it and scale, which is interesting. I think Riven is slightly better. I still think she probably needs a little bit more, but I don't really know because I don't see her and I don't play her. She's like does this champion even fucking exist? Who knows? We only see her from online art. Shyvana's interesting. You know, Shyvana's like a champion, basically like Kaisa, right? She's really good at multiple things sometimes, and then if one thing's get nerfed, the other thing gets good, and then if that gets nerfed, the other thing has to be good. It's like she has a lot of options, and it's, I think, kind of a little bit of a nightmare to balance her. But she could go AD, she could go AP, she could go tank, bruiser. You can do a lot of shit on Shyvana. I think that's the other person who I'm sad and I wished got a VGU, because she's like right under all the other people that I mentioned, like I was gonna say Mundo, like Amumu, Cho'Gath, and Gragas. Like she's up there too. She definitely needs a VGU because her dragon form looks fucking terrible. But at least in her base form. I think I don't know where Shyvana is right now because again I barely see her. So let's see what they're gonna do. When we changed Spear of Shojin to have less ultimate haste, Shyvana asked, "What's ultimate haste?" True. So it should come as no surprise that her core item is now even more her core item. You don't think it's a problem that she's uniquely situated to ignore ability haste on her ultimate, which is nice. It's a problem that she's overpowered right now. She's incredibly lethal and really evasive, leading to her snowballing, running over games too easily. I wonder if it's AP doing this. It's never usually AD, it's usually AP. Dropping some of her damage and AP scaling. Yep, there it is. So her move speed is going down if she scales from AP. Her E damage is going down in... What is it going down in? Oh, and base damage. Okay, cool. So a little bit worse for the E, which is fine. And then the Dragonflight. So basically, AD is not really getting touched. AD is like still as good. AP is a little bit worse. Yeah, wow, they're taking 30% off the ult, which, ironically enough, I think that's a little excessive because, realistically speaking, the ult is somewhat of a dangerous thing to do, especially if you're building full AP. You should be chunking with the ult, but I mean, it still has 100% scaling. It's not like it's low, but taking off 30% is kind of crazy. Yeah, Shyvana's a little bit worse, at least AP wise. Maybe we should build AD, but typically speaking, AD has always, most of the time, been worse than AP. So this is a little sad. I think Shyvana's just kind of getting smacked on the booty here. Singed. This character is for psychopaths. I think that this character is good if you're good with him, unless he literally gets stat checked, which usually doesn't happen. Yeah, Singed is weird, man. This guy is so, I don't want to say complicated, but you really have to have a certain grit to play Singed. I don't know how good he is because I don't see him, but when I see Singed, I'm either scared as shit, or I think this guy has no clue what they're doing. So I think if anything, they should make Singed easier, but that would really push the Singed mains to the stratosphere, which is scary. Singed is such a delicate champion, man. Like, if you're good at him, you're good. But it's really hard to be good. Holy shit. So what are they doing? Singed is another big winner from the item changes. We think he's close to where he should be, so we're only lightly nerfing him. Okay, cool. So his armor growth is going a little bit down. Nice. Skarner. This guy is a fucking mess, man. Hopefully we don't see Cassante this patch, but what are they doing to Skarner? I think, like I said, Skarner sucks. He's very weird. I think he doesn't feel good to play. I think he feels like shit. Obviously there was points where he was really, really strong. I don't think that's anymore, so, what are they doing? Skarner has been quite strong in pro, and for those that are spending the time to master him, so we want to bring his power for skill players down a bit, which is crazy, because I don't think he's that good. His ult sucks dick. Much of this mastery power is coming around how much value you can get out of your E. Interesting. The E is, I think, the hardest part of the kit next to ult. There's so many harder parts now to Skarner, which it's too inconsistent, I feel like. So what are they doing? So his passive max health is going down from 11 to 9. I feel like that's a pretty big nerf. And then the E is going from 8% of his max health to 6%. This is like a giga nerf almost. Oh my god, I feel like Skarner just sucks even more asshole. Holy shit, fuck this champion. Tristana, let's see what they did. So, Tristana, I don't want to say giga buffed, because I did only play her like once or twice, because I got sick of AD and I went to jungle and top lane now, and even mid. Tristana is interesting because they recently did kind of like quirky treatment to her, where they really wanted to incentivize her to go bot lane and build crit and stuff, which you could just do that in mid too. But I think Tristana is a little bit stronger, but the E tooltip, like the text is a little confusing on how like crit actually benefits the E. It's very weird. So I wonder if this could be a case where, again, in the past this happened too, where people thought it wasn't this strong or it is too strong, and then they just have a false expectation in reality, because again, this is what happened with Vlad at some point. So let's see what they're doing. Her level 1 spell ranges weren't increased to match her attack range. Oh, okay, so this is like a low-key buff. Wow, that's actually crazy. Holy shit. Yeah, because they changed her passive range. Okay, and typically you want everything else, or how everything has been on Tristan, is it always matches your range. Wow, okay. And her range is better lately too. This is more of a quality of life thing that should have been in. That's actually really good. Tryndamere. Tryndamere's interesting, right? I think he is no better example than a champion who, if it's your time, it's your time. If it's not, it's not, right? Super simple champion, kind of similar to Mort, except even more so. Pretty fun, pretty classic. I don't know what they're going to do with him. I don't think he's that good, but let's see. Tryndamere got hit pretty hard when armor became better and crit items got weaker. We still like Tryndamere to have solid DPS, especially late game where he's lacking. Wow. He has no built-in attack speed buffs in his kill. We're making sure he has enough access. I feel like Tryndamere is really just like a feast or famine champion, and he's more for like people who either main and love the shit out of him or like to have fun. He's not like I don't think he's ever going to be or for the most part, most times he's not going to be a purely good meta champion. It's like impossible with the way he is. He's either OP as shit or you like having fun with him. So his attack speed ratio is going slightly up, and his armor growth is going up too. That's pretty good. Or Trinimir's a little bit better. Udyr. What do I think of Udyr? Oh my god, oh no, they're touching Veigar. What the fuck? I hope that's not nerf, but Udyr's interesting. I think Udyr is low-key OP as shit, although it's mostly a cheese build. But I think Udyr's very versatile. I think he's a pretty good jungler. And his lethality, like Q-Max, like I'm gonna solo kill you in 1 second build, is really fucking scary, if not cheese. But I feel like in lower to mid elos, it probably is running rampant if people actually know about it. But I could be wrong. I haven't seen many Udyrs because I usually ban him. And again, this is another thing where even though I think he's better than his old version was, unless you're Trick 2G, I think I just don't like the fact that it's a 2-hit thing now on his passive instead of a 3. It doesn't feel right. Unless they change that, but I don't know. Either way, maybe I'll play Udyr again one day. I do have his Spirit Guard skin, but we'll really see. What are they doing? Udyr has been pretty strong for a while now. Agreed. And this is the premier legend in League of Legends. Wow. They said the name. We want to target his jungle as much as possible and leave his top lane relatively untouched. His top lane sucks dick. So we're targeting his jungle modifier on his R and dropping his E movement speed. Wow, okay. So what are they doing? His Q, his awakened Q, is getting nerfed by half base damage, but that's okay, I guess. His E move speed is going down by 10%. That's a little sad, but okay. And his R is going down against monsters. Yeah, so they're just slowing his clear. I don't know how much this affects Udyr. Probably affects him a decent bit, but I don't really know. Udyr's slightly worse. Whatever. Vinaigrette. Like I said, he recently just got his skin, so I would only assume buffs here because they want to sell the skin, which is an amazing skin, by the way. Okay, W damage decrease. I'm completely wrong. When gold became less valuable, last patch champions like Veigar who got their power from other sources got much stronger, which is why he's receiving a nerf. Let's see how bad this is. I'd like to close the gap between lower and higher MMR. Dark matter is generally quite easy to dodge for higher skill players, so by lowering its impact, we can disproportionately nerf him. Oh, okay, so let me see. So the damage is not getting touched. The scaling is going down by 10%. It hurts. It's not terrible. But, 5 and 10 are their favorite numbers, and this is, I think, a little bit harsh, but 5% would have been fine, but 10% is okay, because Veigar does hit like a truck. If they did it anymore, and if they do it over time where I forget about this, I think it's going to be criminal, even though I won't even know it. I won't remember it, but we're going down a fucking slippery slope with Veigar, man. Like they said, in higher elos, it's a little bit harder to play Veigar, but I think he's very valuable for what he provides to the team. Not only with just straight raw damage, but that stun, man. That E. Mwah. I love Veigar. I love Veigar so much. Infinite stacking. Yasuo! Oh, and we have the other brother, too. So, depending on what they're going to do with one, they're probably going to do to the other. I really don't know what they're going to do, though. Yasuo was unsurprisingly hit with a crit itemization, became weaker. We'd like it still if he was a critical strike enjoyer. So, this is interesting, because from what I've seen when I've played Yasuo, more Yone than anything, but Yasuo as well, the recommended builds, and I think what people think are optimal, I don't know if it actually is or not, is not really full crit anymore. And it's ironic because in their kit, they scale off overcapping with crit, which they easily do. Like, they get extra AD from it. But all their things, now obviously Blade of the Ruined King is the exception, right? Maybe Kraken Slayer, maybe. But for the most part, they don't like to build a lot of crit. And it's like, I feel like it's counterintuitive to the champion, man. It really goes to show you crit is really weak. Or the items are just so much stronger, which is the same effect. But the Q, the crit strike damage is going up by 10%, so it matches basic attacks. I didn't even know it was at 80. That's crazy. And then the R Last Breath bonus armor pen on crits specifically is now 50 to 60. So again, Yasuo's role, I always saw him as obviously generally good after he hits his O10 power spike. But he's mainly a tank killer. Not to say Yone isn't. But Yasuo will way better deal with a tanky Rammus, for instance, than Yone ever really could. Not to say Yone can't deal with it, it's just Yasuo is slightly better at it. So what are they doing for Yone? Same thing. Except they're obviously retaining Yasuo's niche as a quote-unquote tank killer, and Yone is just Yone. So cool. Alright, let's get to hopefully my favorite part, where they're going to buff ADCs. So ADC items. We're adjusting the first slot legendaries for many crit ADCs this patch. While we hit our goals of flatly nerfing everything, we ended up shifting some items into spots where there was no reason to pick them. Yes, just like ADCs. We're lightly buffing the Collector and Yuan's Hall by making them significantly cheaper. No! They're not changing it back! Allowing crit ADCs to hit one item at a similar time to other classes, they're still tied to scaling with more critical strike chance. They'll stand out as actual slot 1 items instead of just worse Infinity Edge. On the static side, it ended up being a bit stronger than the other options, so obviously they're nerfing it because of Jhin, because of Worlds. Essence Reavers are meant to be power neutral. Oh. So let's see what they're doing. So Essence Reaver is getting cheaper, but it's losing AD and Ability Haste. That's kind of going to make it feel a little bit more ass, okay? Like, is this a buff? I feel like this isn't a buff. Like, obviously it takes longer to get them, but it's like, you're nerfing the damage too. Like, no, we're doing less damage. No, you're already supposed to do this. Static Shift is giving less attack speed. Okay, whatever. And now, look. Yuntal Wild Arrows. Nerfing the fucking AD. Okay, whatever. The serrated edge damage, which is the damage you get, the bleed you get, is -10 now. It's even worse on Jhin, man. This item sucks wiener. I'm curious to see who the fuck uses this. Like, it's probably, again, it's better in the early game, probably, but oh my fucking god, man, this is not good. And here we have the components. Faded Ashes is getting slightly nerfed. Landry's is getting slightly nerfed to monsters, which is whatever. So they're too good in the jungle. Ludens. One limits how much burst comes from. Okay. So Ludens is basically too strong. And again, the mage items did come out a little stronger because they didn't get as touched, but now they are. So the fire damage of Ludens is going up. The repeated fire damage is a lot less. And the maximum target damage is a lot less. Holy shit, this is crazy. This is more of an AoE thing now than anything. Whatever. Storm Surge is interesting. I think this item kind of sucks ass. I think it's very gimmicky. Because whenever I build it, now again, maybe I need to just build it more and play actual mid more. But whenever I actually get this item, I feel like it doesn't really matter. I've only seen one instance, even when it was used against me, where it killed me or it had like a meaningful impact. I was like, oh shit. Now maybe it's the similar thing with static. Maybe I just don't like these items because I don't notice big dick damage, because they don't do big dick damage. They do slight damage here and there, although Storm Surge has a really long cooldown. So maybe it's just the case of I'm not noticing it and I'm stupid, which could be the reality, but let's see. So Storm Surge was really good, so it's getting nerfed. Not as bad a nerf as fucking Yuntal, I'll tell you that, but was it Yuntal? Yeah, it was kind of Yuntal. This is actually decently nerf. Oh no, I'm sorry. Not as bad of a nerf as Luden's Luden's Companion. That shit's fucking sucks now. So Storm Surge is a little bit worse. Thornmail, which is ironic that it was so good. This is also getting nerfed too. Nice. Runes. Update most runes to be easier to read and display the most prominent stats. Okay, nice. So that's just quality of life things. Cool. Phase Rush is technically receiving a gameplay change as a result. Oh? What are they doing? So it's getting nerfed / buffed, excuse me, for ranged, and then melee is the same. Okay, I don't really know what this means. Grasp is basically one of the few things you get on tanks unless you're going in as support. So they're nerfing it, I think. Healing is 1.3 max health. Okay. And the max health per stack is a lot less. Okay, cool. Well, not a lot less, but over time this does add up. Nimbus Cloak. I feel like this one sucks. Nimbus Cloak to decay move speed was intended to be a power neutral, but ended up hitting a rune a bit harder. So now it's giving more. Nice. ARAM. I love ARAM, but I am not fucking going over this. This is whatever. They're buffing people. They're nerfing people. Items only. Nice. Whatever. Ultimate Spellbook. So let's see what they're doing. So again, this is where this game mode's supposed to be for fun. I hope they don't nerf anything, but let's see. Ultimate Spellbook went live last patch. We've been keeping an eye out for bugs. Alternate summoners misbehaving and looking how the swap system behaves. I think the swap system is a nice little breath of fresh air. Because actually, you know, you don't want the same ult the whole game. It kind of becomes stagnant. And swapping, I mean, it gets to some pretty crazy shit. I remember one game, the enemy team had like Morg ult, they had Kale ult, they had Renata, well, not Renata ult, but they had Renata on the team. And they had Kale ult, a Mumu ult, Kindred ult, and I was like, bro, they're just not dying. Like, they got the perfect combo, and I was like, okay, this probably feels really fun for them. It feels really ass for me. But that's good, right? You should have games where you're getting ass blasted and games where you're spreading cheek. So I think that's really cool because it's random, right? And anything random can't be bounced too heavily. Not to say ignore it, but still. So the stat boost they were giving for swapping summoners was overperforming for bruisers and tanks. We made some first pass adjustments for one of the differences that you gain from swapping. Oh. So you're getting a lot less now because it did feel kind of ridiculous, which is fine. Bug fixes, no one cares. Okay, Worlds, here we go, the Clash one. Worlds is here, team formation is the first weekend of Clash will open on, I think, next weekend. Wait, what? Oh, it will be held on 19 and 20. Okay, yeah, so this is next weekend, yes. Since Worlds Clash is a 16-team bracket instead of usual 8, oh my god, it's doubled. And there's going to be an additional level of rewards. Good dear lord. Wow. So, let's see the things here. What do you need to do to get a skin? Not a ward skin, like an actual skin. So, 2 wins, you get a 975. 3 wins, you get a 1350. If you win literally everything, you get a 975, a 1350. Okay, so that doesn't matter. You're getting the same shit. Who cares? You're getting a lot more other stuff. A chibi icon, too, is cool, but whatever. The premium ticket, you're guaranteed a skin shard no matter what. If you fully win with the premium, you get an 1820. Oh, if you get just 3 wins, you get an 1820. 2 wins, you get an 1820. Wow. If you win twice, you get an 1820. You get a legendary. That's crazy. I mean, granted, this does cost money, but still. Okay, cool. Mythic shop rotation, I don't really care. Bug fixes, a lot of bugs in the game. And finally to the skins. So, we have Music Fan Gragas, which has been a skin needing to come in for a fucking while, which is really nice. Glad they put that in finally, even though I wish they would just give him a VGU. Or, maybe not VGU, maybe an ASU is enough. Cosplayer Nico, which I think is a beautiful, very cute skin. I love it. I love Nico. I love everything about her. Maybe not so much the gameplay, but everything else is great. And Esports Fan Trundle. I love these skins a lot. Obviously, we went over the Silver skin. It's okay. It's not bad. If you have no other skin, I think it's good. And then I'm assuming this is Nightbringer Yasuo, so it's a skin that already exists, which means it probably might cost $200 with the little stupid gacha capsule system, which is sad because this skin looks epic. And it's really, really sad that the Jin one was the first one because it's the worst one. It was kind of like the test run one, and it's just fucking horrible. It's literally just a chroma. That's $200. These other ones now, especially starting from the Echo one, the God King Darius and Garen ones are amazing, and the Yasuo one's probably gonna be really good too. Like this shit already looks epic. Oh my god, like he looks like a fucking demon. He looks like a demon lord, which he already was. So I'm not really sure what they're really changing with this, but either way, we have Chromas. Nico is so fucking cute. I love the cosplay skins. The Pengu one for Tristana, the Fury Horn for Vhagar. I think these are some of the best skins, but they're so fucking cute. But otherwise than that, like these are pretty decent skins. Not bad. Not bad at all. Shame we have the gacha ones, but it is what it is. So overall, that's the patch. Pretty interesting. I mean, you know, they said they're quote-unquote buffing ADC items. They really aren't. Yeah, you could get them earlier, but overall you're losing damage. So, I really don't like that at all. Teemo's ASU is whatever. It's okay. I don't really care, but I like that the game is keeping a certain bar of quality, even though it takes a while. Honestly, the Jin stuff, the items not being what I expected, you know, there's not much, sadly, I think is really good with this patch, especially because we're adding this shit too. This is annoying me a little bit. Oh man, this is gonna be tough. Yeah, I don't know, man. This patch doesn't feel too nice. This doesn't get me excited. I mean, you know, Tristana buff is kind of, well, it's really just reordering, you know, where she should have been, but yeah, no, I think this patch just feels honestly just whatever. Like, it honestly more annoys me than anything. It's not terrible. I don't think there's too many egregious things. They're keeping it somewhat tame. And we do have the 15th anniversary. Sadly, I'm going to rate this one a 4 out of 10 Mark Merrills, man. 5 always being neutral, right? 5 out of 10 is completely neutral. It's not good, it's not bad, it's whatever. I'm slightly annoyed by this one. Even though there's some good stuff in it, the ADC stuff really got me upset. So 4 out of 10 Mark Merrills. Hope everyone enjoyed, and I hope y'all watch me at Twitch TV/Technics channel. We made it under an hour. Yippee!